All right, so a few days ago, I'm working with a 16-year-old boy. And so a 16-year-old boy shows up in my office. I have from 11 to 12, and mom calls. It's an emergency session. So, you know, yeah, well, I have 11 to 12, but then I've got lunch. Is there any possibility you're willing to give up lunch? Like, oh, yeah, I'll give up lunch. We'll take 2 hours. Fine. So I get across from me, I get boy, Billy. Why not? Dad next to me, mom over here, and as a bonus, which I've never had before, an aunt. So I got a spare parent, which was perfect, right? You know, like just in case everyone else runs out of steam, the aunt can take over, and in fact did. And the session was really, really unbelievable. So boy sits down, dead quiet, and the lectures start about, you know, Jimmy, here's the problem. You're doing poorly in school. You don't know how to prioritize. You don't know how to think about what's important. Your future is at stake here. That meeting you were supposed to have with your algebra teacher before school, you blew that off, and next time you try to have a meeting with that teacher's not going to take you seriously, and then we're going to be in big trouble, and you're probably going to fail algebra. And then what are you going to do? You're going to have to take it in summer school, and then you're screwed for next year. And what do we do about geometry? And on and on and on and on and on. And everybody was in on the act. And pretty soon, Dad is sitting up in his chair, and he's like all about it. He's like, we're going to lecture. We're going to get through to the kid. If we keep pushing, we're going to get through. And the aunt is kind of very participatory for an aunt. I mean, I have to give her a lot of credit. And Mom had this thing where she had about this much space, and she was pacing back and forth. And she just threw in tidbits, like, you know, and algebra. Tell them about algebra. You know, like, and eventually, so the kid's on the couch. And eventually the kid, probably wisely, he's sitting there, you know, he's kind of like this, kind of glazed over, and eventually he kind of gives it one of these. And he does it for a while, right? And I'm thinking, well, eventually somebody's going to blow up at him and get really pissed off because he's not paying attention. Didn't happen. Lecture went on as if he were wide awake. I assume people saw that he was either sleeping or pretending to be asleep, but clearly non-attentive. But no, everyone wanted to get their digs in because we're thinking we're on a roll. We got 2 hours with the guy. We're taking his lunch hour. So we're gonna lay into this kid until we drill it into his head how important algebra is, right? Can you guess how ineffective this is? Like, can you just feel it in your bones? And so after watching the show for a while, and it was not a bad show. It was pretty good. You know what I mean? It was kind of like, you know, given, of course, a family's in a great deal of strife, and I felt for that. But it was kind of fun, too. And eventually I said, okay, can I just talk to Jimmy for a minute? I have to make sure Jimmy's not his name. And it was an office far, far away. And I said, Jimmy, you know, so tell me, you know, you're in here and you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 adults, which is a record in my office, staring at you, looking for you to do better in school, right? And what's it like? What's this like for you? So Jimmy's kind of like, he's pretty passive about it. And I said, you know, well, what do you think about the whole idea of not doing poorly not doing well in school? I mean, that's what we're talking about, and everyone's harping on you about it. So what's the deal? And he says, you know what? It doesn't really matter. I'm stupid anyway. I could never do well. And I'm like, oh, nobody said that before, you know, like, and somebody, Mom, I think, says, he's snowing you, Dr. Duffy. This is not what the deal is. He's not stupid, you know? But I'm kind of like, I want to hear what he means about being stupid, you know, because something about that resonates with me. I could tell that there was something he meant by that. So I said, you know, well, Jimmy, tell me about the stupid thing. And he said, I got this math test back last year. And the teacher said, well, if you can't get this stuff, you've got to be stupid. And he said, and I've heard it once or twice before. And so I know I'm stupid. I know I can't do this stuff. So it doesn't matter what anybody says, you know? And therein lies the little nugget we needed to work with. So now we have something, and it's not about performing in school. It's about a lack of faith in himself. And so we had to talk about, and you know, I still have a lot of work cut out because this was just this week. So I want to talk to him about, you know, feeling stupid, how we get to a place where you feel like you're smarter, how you feel like you're capable. So it'll take a lot of work, but I'm confident we can get there. Whereas we could have spent the next couple of years of his life for 2.5 hours a week lecturing the hell out of this kid and not gotten anywhere. But the message to him would have been, you know what, you can't really talk to us about this because we're on one note. We believe the answer is to hammer this into your head that you have to do better. And I got to tell you guys, like, that lecture never works. It might feel good for a second because you feel like, okay, I'm getting something off my chest as a parent, but that's all it gets you.